Okay, so for this video, I'm going to talk about why does everyone hate the jungler? Now, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I hope my mic levels are okay. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, because there's going to be a lot here that you guys can comment on, alright? And I don't exactly hate feedback. I like feedback. Plus, when you guys talk, it's fun, because you guys talk amongst yourselves. Sometimes it seems you guys enjoy that, okay? So, anyway, why does everyone hate the jungler? Well, currently the top lane and the jungler can hate each other. The mid lane and the jungler can hate each other. And the bot lane and the jungler can hate each other. And support and the jungler can hate each other. Everyone seems to hate the jungler. And why is that? Well, in order to answer that question, and this is a rant video. This isn't like an organized argument video. So it'll just be one rant. Okay, so don't at me. Okay. So why does everyone hate the jungler? Well, in order to answer that, sorry, I was swatting a fly. It looked like I was doing something. In order to answer that, I'm going to go through some things. Why does everyone hate the jungler? Because the jungler is extremely dominant and basically controls the early game. With the way League is set up right now, if you want to go for plays, if you want to attack people, often the best way to do it is with the jungler. In fact, the majority of the time, the best way to do it is with the jungler. Solo, you can get a CS advantage, and maybe, generously, you can get a solo kill, but you can't really dominate the game unless you vastly outskill your opponent. The majority of the time, if both players are playing intelligently, there might be one kill, there might be a CS lead, but not much beyond that. If you want to actually win the game, if you want to carry, you're gonna have to get the jungler or at least someone on your team, but it's likely gonna be the jungler. When you don't get any jungle support, the game can get kind of boring. And here's when it gets really bad. When you don't get any support and you get attacked by the jungler, it gets really unfun and it doesn't become an interesting game to play at all. Now, I'm talking about fun from the fundamental aspect of fun. Just fundamentally, what is fun and what is not fun. Winning a game is fun, but you can have no fun while even winning a game. Fun is just a fundamental thing. Are you having fun or are you not having fun? A lot of people will say winning a game is fun, but that doesn't always fit. So why do you hate the jungler? Now, let me be clear on this one. The jungle can be making the right calls, the correct decisions, winning the game, and can still get hated. Because, exactly as I was just saying, if I'm playing top lane, and I'm a top laner, sue me, I use things from the perspective that I have. I play top lane, so I give a top lane perspective. What do you want from me, okay? But if I'm in top lane and I'm getting camped, and maybe I'm 0-2, okay, and I've done a pretty good job, I've kept mostly up in CS, I've only died twice despite being camped on the entire game, and yeah, that is actually a decent number. If I've done that, the game is really unfun for me, and it's not fun at all, and I can look at my team winning and maybe that'll tide me over, but realistically, I'm not having any fun. And the only thing that's going to keep me going is the hope that my team is going to be able to win it for me. Now, imagine your team doesn't win that game. You're going to blow up, okay? But if at the very least, if your team does win, you feel, okay, well, I didn't get it to do anything or have any fun, but at least we won. But it's not really interesting. And so it means basically, if the jungle doesn't help you out, then you hate him, even if he's making the right calls. Now, I do want to iterate here. I don't really like the concept of the strong side, weak side. Totally ignoring a lane is a bad call. So the junglers who are gonna, hear what I just said, and they're gonna be like, nah, so it is a good idea to ignore a lane sometimes and win the game. Well, that's not entirely the best strategy, especially because relying on one lane to somehow out-carry another lane, especially considering how easy it is to destroy top lane 2v1. I'm not trying to say that, just to be clear. I'm not making that argument. So don't say I'm endorsing the strong side, weak side bullshit that people have been spouting lately. I think that's a stupid concept. It's a concept that has some factual bases, but it's a wrong conclusion. Now, There are some factual bases that camping a lane into oblivion can be a good call. Okay, there are some factual bases for the strong side, weak side, like getting turret plates, getting the objectives, things like that. Those can be beneficial, but to totally ignore a lane is the wrong call. Plates are very easy to get. It's very easy to kill someone once they're even a little bit behind. So don't consider this an endorsement for me saying strong side, weak side, totally ignore a lane. Don't. Okay, I know I went on a bit of a tangent there, but just don't consider that, okay? So when you aren't getting the jungle support though, and again, even if they're making the right call, even if they're dunking on bot lane for a few minutes and they're not going to come to your lane, okay, it can really suck when you don't get to do anything. There can come a certain point where even trying to trade, even if you win the trades, even if you're outplaying your opponent, and this is what can really suck for those of you, for those junglers or anyone who doesn't really understand why top laners or, you know, these sorts of people can get so upset. Even if you're winning the trades, even if you're playing correctly, even if you're doing the right thing, it's the wrong call to even go for it in the first place. It's a wrong call, because even if they end up at half HP and I end up at 3/4 HP, 3/4 HP, that means they 2v1 me and they kill me really quickly. And that's not great. It's not great when you kind of come to the conclusion that, oh, I really shouldn't even be going for trades. I should just keep my health up. I should just get with CS I can. And then you start hating the jungle. But here's what this all boils down to in the end. Here's where I'm trying to get to this purpose. The point of this whole thing I've just said. It's not the jungler's fault. It's actually not. It's the design fault of the game. That's something that I think is very overlooked. It's the designer's fault. Okay? They've set up the game. They've done this thing where it can often be advantageous for the jungle to ignore you for at least a little bit, to play on other lanes, or just simply they have to be somewhere. They can't be in all three lanes at the same time, can they? And so often if their jungler is deciding to dunk on you for a little bit and your jungler is deciding to go bot for a little bit, or if you are bot, you know, you know what I mean. Okay, just if their jungler is on you and your jungler's elsewhere, it can feel really bad. And it goes back to the jungle is so dominant that it can just feel really you're kind of getting big leagued is the right way to put it. Okay. I guess that's, you're getting big leagued. You're ending in a situation where there's a champion who's just much more powerful than you, and the jungle is more powerful than the laners for the early game, especially because they can just force a 2v1, and they can just kind of drive off, and it comes down to a skill issue. It's a team game, but you're one person, and this is the design of the game, okay? So junglers, I guess I'm sympathizing with you a little bit here, so but don't think I'm endorsing stupid behavior. You know, I just want to reiterate that because I know people are going to go in these comments and be like, Hashinshin, then why do you always complain when your team's winning but you're getting camped? You know, because, you know, I don't want people trying to turn this into a gotcha moment against me, because that gets annoying. But yeah, that's just generally it. You can just end up in these situations where it feels like the player's skill has gone out the window, and the best thing you can do realistically is nothing. It turns into a very fun and unfun situation. I think I said fun. It turns into a very unfun situation, and it just sucks. And that's the design of the game. This is also why I often say that League of Legends has a scaling issue. And by scaling issue, I mean the better people get, the better they are at the game, the less... I think I talked about this in my previous video as well. The better you are at the game, the less individual skill you can express. Because the higher rank you go, the more it becomes a team game. And if I become a very good laner, then I can often just be bullied off of being able to even express that I'm good at laning by the jungler. But it's their job. It's the job of the jungler. That's their role. That's the design of the game, is to say if a lane is doing bad or good or whatever, the jungler can step in and say no. And from I guess, a perspective of a healthy game. It's good that one player being better than their lane opponent doesn't just sort of end the game. But again, even if you're trying to save the game from a few roles or positions having skill discrepancies ending the game, it does save it from that. But then in those situations where there isn't a huge skill discrepancy, then you end up again feeling like I don't really know what to do, right? Like you don't really know what to do, and then you just get angry at the jungler, and that's the whole purpose of this video. The whole purpose of this video is to explain why are people getting so angry at the jungle. And I hope, despite this being ranty, and I hope despite this being a bit, you know, grindy, let's call it that you guys are at least getting that perspective that I'm trying to get across a point here. This is why people hate the jungler. I'll go back over my points because I'm sort of wrapping up. Let's reiterate here, okay? People hate the jungler because the jungle is an extremely powerful role. Yes, I do think it's still overpowered. It tends to dominate the game and have the responsibility of everyone behind it. And when it has the responsibility of everyone behind it, that means that that role gets to, generally speaking, control how good your role does, okay? Now, when you combo that with it not really being fun when you're being camped, and you combo that with how you have to start giving up your decision making and just playing to keep your health up to avoid dives, and you play to back off the turret even when the wave is crashing because you know you're about to get dived. Again, these are things that don't turn fun. So this is me reiterating from a team play perspective. These are good decisions that you're making. From an individual perspective, it is very unfun, and that unfun turns into you getting angry and yelling at the jungler, even though the jungler, again, can be making, and I've said this like 19 times, he can be making the right calls, he can be winning the game, and yet, sorry, my neck, and yet you can just get very angry and hate the dude for it. So that's basically the purpose of this video. Everyone hates the jungler, and it's a design issue. You guys are probably waiting for me to come up with like, as Hashinshin, here's my solution to the problem. No, we've got 10 years of decisions here. I think Riot has done a lot from the perspective of trying to control this issue. I think they've done a lot. They've got very good defensive runes, very good defensive item choices for the early game. Doran's Shield is extremely good. Second Wind is extremely good. Fleet Footwork is extremely, at least on melee champions, pretty good at keeping your health bar up. So from the design standpoint of ensuring that lanes can't run out of control, they've done that. But then that means that the 1v1 becomes harder and harder. But at the very least, it means it's harder for a skill discrepancy to totally take over the game. But, you know, we got 10 years of things here. They can do this, they can do that. But the end result, their decision, their, what do you even want to put it? Their solution to the problem is just the jungle gets to dominate everything. And that has the issue. So my neck is just, and that is the issue of if the you just lose control to the jungle, and that's basically it. So yeah, and then you end up hating the jungle, and that's the whole point here. Anyway, that's the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for getting through it. I know this one's a bit rantier than normal. I don't know, I feel a little bit unfocused today. I can't really seem to be, I don't know if this is like better or worse than my normal rants. It definitely feels rantier than normal. I'm not sure if I'm really doing this well or not, but anyway, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you all for being here. Special thank you to my Patreon supporters. My Patreon supporters are extremely beneficial. Once again, I'm gonna try to sell out for myself because, you know, I'm my own best sellout. I've got a $3, $5, $50 option on Patreon. Even the $3 option is extremely beneficial. People that are subscribed to my Patreon can join my Discord, get a special role. You can see my videos early, get better, you can give feedback on them. The feedback is extremely beneficial. I've redone videos because of Patreon feedback, so I do respect that. And it's very beneficial to me to have a floor with how much YouTube ebbs and flows up and down, up and down. It's nice to be able to look at Patreon and be like, okay, at least I'll get that amount, you know. At least I got this. You know, you're in like a fucking like the burnt down house, just smoldering ashes everywhere. But you get the Patreon boys behind you, and I'm like, Patreon boys, you're with me, and they're like, yeah. That's how I feel about it. So, oh, and girls, Patreon boys and girls, and men and women and non-binary. I don't know. Doing my best. So thank you, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Come back. I'm going to try to do new videos every day. Thank you for enjoying my content. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Appreciate you. Have a great day. Love you, everybody.